what upsets you. We'd like to picture how it might be in and around you.
October 4th, 1929. Agnes writes, "We've been busy during the administration of the bread campaign. We're still getting some bread with a ration card. If the winter is not too harsh, we'll have coals until the middle of January. That will give you some idea of how we are prepared for the winter. You might think it's impossible to live that way. We think we're living well and we don't have to worry about what we're going to eat for the next few days. We have learned to live with worry and care. And when they seem to want to bury us, we have the consoling knowledge that there is a Father in heaven who knows our very need, who can make our burdens light, and who gives us the will and joy to live." But now I'd like to share with you some wonderful news. At last, after 5 years of marriage, we're going to have a child. It's possible that you might now understand our joy because of the hard times, and because I have a bad heart. But we are really very, very happy. We have wished for a child for so long. I'm slowly preparing for the baby things I'll need, although it's quite complicated because there isn't much available. If it's a girl, her name will be Ruth. If it's a boy, it will be Hans. We have put the matter into God's hand and will accept whatever He gives.
October 4, 1929, Kolja writes, "We had been talking about how we're going to get through the next 2 weeks, for we have no money and my paycheck was still 2 weeks away. I had given my watch to the pawn shop, but still not gotten any money for it. When your money came, we are so thankful. God is leading us through a difficult challenge to our faith, but regardless of our economic hardship, we are thankful for our health and spiritual well-being. Night has drawn its shades over this land. Not one beam of light can pierce this darkened wasteland. Pressure and tragedy is our daily fare. Again and again we must repeat to ourselves, and though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff shall comfort me."
April 9, 1930. Agnes writes, "It's spring here now. The violets are blooming. The storks have returned, and I've got part of my garden planted. We want to plant a little of everything, so when summer comes, we won't have to buy every onion, each carrot, or every sprig of parsley. Hopefully, we should have enough potatoes for the winter if no one steals them. It's so hard to draw you an accurate picture of things, how things are here. We must be silent." May 31st, 1931. Agnes writes, "Today we received your dear letter. Forgive us if we have caused you anguish with our begging, but we know you help gladly, and that's why I asked for assistance. I just want you to know that we did not know how we were to survive without the packages. I've been very sick, running a temperature of 40 degrees, and coughing constantly. We are experiencing terrible times, and God has seen us through. My brother Hans and his wife Anna are very poor. They have 5 small children, yet they never seem to be depressed in spirit, and their faith in God is very apparent." He will laugh. "For a month now, we've had no oil, no meat in the house, so that we eat all the potatoes and our porridge dry." And he laughs. "And with 5 children. Now he has an office job, and they are doing much better. We are enjoying a beautiful spring. Only the mosquitoes are rather bad. Hansel has been bitten severely. He gets very angry. 'You should spank those nasty jumping flies,' he tells me." September 26th, 1931. Agnes writes, "Dear ones, accept our heartfelt thanks, and may God repay you for your generosity. We can't repay you. We can only love you. You have no idea how much your packages mean to us, even though you have heard much of the conditions here. Things are getting more critical all the time. When we visit with others, the discussions are always about survival. When we get up in the mornings, the first thoughts are, what are we going to eat today? And when we go to bed at night, the same thoughts come back. What will we do for tomorrow? You have no idea how things are governed here. They act as if they want to starve the whole population of this country. Is it any wonder that these thoughts find their way into a letter? But we should be more thankful. Our Hansel is a well and growing boy, and I have been healthier this summer than I've been for a long time. Kolja has always had work, is strong, and faithful to our way of life, and we've had some very happy hours together. We miss getting together with our friends and relatives, since the free days are on different dates, and there are so very few days away from work. But when we do manage to get together, we refresh ourselves with happy memories of the past. We sing old songs, and the faces take on happy expressions. Kolja has a longing for his family, and although he doesn't say anything, I notice that every time we get a letter from one of you, he becomes so animated, and his face is so radiant. And now he arrived home with the little one, and we experienced a bit of frivolity. Kolja wanted to bring home a treat for Hansel, so he bought 6 syrup pepper cookies. But he couldn't bite them. We had to break them up with pliers and a hammer. October 7, 1932. Agnes writes, yesterday we went to get the money from the bank. Again and always again we must satisfy ourselves to express the same. God bless and repay you for your generosity, dear ones. God works in mysterious ways, for we received another gift of money. So now we are in a position to give ourselves. We are going to send a small parcel to our brother Hans also. When you get this letter, you will already be making preparations for Christmas. Olga, do you remember the blessed times we had at Advent and Christmas? Not just for the celebration or presents, but the feeling of family and giving. There was so much happiness in our hearts. Last year, there was so much sadness. And this year, too, there are so many husbands and fathers taken away. May God shield us from such unhappiness. If possible, Kolja wants to make Hans a sled. Love can do so much. If everything goes well, I want to bake some cookies. We try very hard to create joy and give joy in our thoughts. Hans can sing most of the Christmas songs. Especially when he's in bed, he wants me to sing to him of the babe in the manger and the holy couple. And he always wants to hear Vasily Zhukovsky. And in such a way, we will celebrate Christmas just as we would before a laden table and a shining tree. Of course, we try to make it as close as possible to resemble the Christmases we used to know and love. May God hold you in his care. And please write us a letter detailing everything you do. And don't forget to include us in your prayers.
Snowflakes fall gently.
December 2nd, 1932, Kolja writes, Hansel is our sunshine. His antics can make us forget our worries. He understands everything, he speaks everything, and amuses himself all day. Now, of course, he's very, very full of Santa Claus. He helps his mother whenever he can. He runs errands and talks incessantly from morning until late at night. We are so happy that he's such a healthy, active boy. But our hearts ache when we think of his future. We can do very little about that, but pray, and we do daily. When he does go to bed each night, he'll say, we haven't prayed yet. And when he comes to realize, as we do, the power of prayer, then we can say that we have given him the greatest inheritance we can give him. I'd like to tell you in much more confidence, yet our every step is noted, every word examined. The typhoid fever is spreading rapidly. January 2nd, 1933. Christmas is now over. It has been quite nice until now, but the frost is ready to take over. So far, we have not frozen nor gone hungry. And each time our food ran out, there was a package from you. We certainly are needful of your help. I don't know how we would survive without it. I don't know how I can thank you. God will repay you. There's so much misery all around us, with some exceptions, namely those who are getting aid from outside the country, as we are. We are as the poor widow whose flower box never gets empty. It has gotten quiet around here. Hansel has gone to bed. Yesterday he said to me, Papa, you're such a sympathish, attractive, likable boy. We laughed so. He's at the stage where he's always asking, why?
Night,
June 5th, 1933. Agnes writes, "Today we are observing the second day of Pentecost. However, the weather is like the weather we would have in late fall. For over a month now it has been rainy, cold, and windy. The world is getting colder, both outside in nature and inside men's hearts. People walk around in their coats looking sorrowful. Everyone looks worried and forlorn, one might say even hopeless. The vegetables in the garden won't grow. The fruit has fallen from the trees. Only the weeds flourish. And if we look about to see the anguish, we are led to say, God, be gracious unto us. Fill us with your generosity. Take pity on us and don't let us die. God cannot bless this land. The horrors cry to heaven. He must punish it and bring it to its knees if there is to be any hope for redemption. We are uncontrollably caught up in it, and he will help us. It is through you and your help and prayers that God helps us time and again. We are completely dependent, for now we live only on what the Trafficun gives us. Our German Mennonite people here are living mainly from what is being sent to them. I cannot describe the horrors taking place in the towns and villages around us. We have to face the possibility of starvation. People are being killed and eaten. Children cannot run the streets without being escorted. People are becoming so cold and callous. Had such things occurred years ago, there would have been such outrage. Now, whether a man be killed or lies dying in the street, or a father butchers his son, or grave robbers slash the faces of corpses to extract gold fillings, or a grown young woman be killed and her body dissected and sheared. Such inhumane acts seem to have become the order of the day. We are becoming desensitized and too numb to be distraught over the indescribable horrors taking place. Then, sometimes one must stop and think. It would be possible to lose one's mind if it becomes overburdened with such tragic horrors. Yes, that's the way it is in the Ukraine.
Oh, say
August 5, 1933. Agnes writes, "You dear people are working too hard, beyond your physical powers to try to help us, and this has made us feel guilty. We realize that it is in part our fault that you are suffering and that you have already helped us very, very much. We admit that we don't know how we would have made it without your help, and we discover daily that when the need is greatest, God's help is nearest. We know that if we don't abandon God, God will not abandon us. We can never thank you enough or the way we'd like to, nor repay you." The storks are circling above, practicing to leave for winter climes. As we watch, a great sadness creeps into our being as we recall the wonderful, carefree days of our childhood. We reminisce of the happy times we spent together in the garden, singing joyously our songs, while an occasional apple or pear would fall from the trees. The fruit was so plentiful. Now, we